Hello everyone, and hope you're all having an amazing day or had an amazing day, depending on your current time zone. So today I'm going to get a little bit more in depth on the process to get on or become active on a transplant list, or specifically a kidney transplant list. I'm going to go through our journey, how difficult it was to get on become active, and why we were kind of like held off from being authorized to become active. I think that's really key here, especially because the first time around, because my daughter had 2 kidney transplants, the first time around was directly from me as a parent. So the process was a lot smoother and she didn't have any issues pending. So it was a lot smoother, right? It was a quick turnaround time frame. We did it pretty quickly. I just had to lose some weight, and I'll kind of go into that. But the second time around, it really was a difficult journey, and it took a lot out of us, especially my daughter. So hello. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, my name is Kathy, and on Mondays I do videos all about fashion, accessories, just fun things that I enjoy doing to keep my mind off of the second half of the week videos, which are all about my 2 daughters and their journeys with 2 diseases. TSC, which is tuberous sclerosis complex, which is tumors that can grow in any major organ throughout your body, and FSGS being a form of kidney disease that can damage the glomeruli, which is the kidney filtration, which can lead to kidney disease, kidney failure, transplant, or dialysis, depending on your disease's progression. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the little subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Let me know what you think of today's video. And let's get started. So today I wanted to get a little bit more into the details of what we went through to get my daughter active on the kidney transplant list. Now, just note that if you get a recommendation from your nephrologist to say, hey, I think that she's ready, or your son's daughter, whoever's ready to be on the transplant list, you do have to go through a series of interviews in order to get authorized or the approval to become active on the list. So there may be a potential for you to become active, so they'll put you on the list to say, hey, this person might have the potential to become active. But there is a difference between being active and being inactive on a list. Now, being inactive on the list means that you do have to go again through the approval process, but it means that you may be eligible to become active. So especially when you're a little bit younger, the younger you are, the quicker you move up when you become live. So for example, my daughter was sitting on that list for about 7.5 years, inactive, because she still had to go through the approval process. So her nephrologist eventually gave her the approval to say, hey, you can go ahead and start going through the process. She had to meet with the board of directors, and then they have to say, okay, yes, we think that this person is ready to become active. Now she has to go through a series of blood work and everything else to give the final okay. So that's all included in that whole process. Now, the biggest challenge, the good thing, let me backtrack a little bit. The good thing about being, even if you're inactive on the list, you're moving up steadily on that list. So when you become active, the younger you are, the faster you'll move up into that. So she was inactive for 7.5 years. She finally got the approval. Then as soon as she got the approval, she moved up. Within 3 months, she received her kidney transplant. So that's it's a little bit different. The older you are, it takes a little bit longer for you to become, to move up on the list. So even if you do become live or active, it can take a year or so to actually be eligible to receive a kidney transplant. So it all depends, right? It all depends on what's your issues. Do you have any underlying issues? Like my daughter had the meningitis infection that she had to continuously fight back. So for the first few years, she was fighting back the meningitis infection, and it still was showing as somewhat, it was dormant. So whenever they would test her, still showing someone dormant. So that was a challenge for us. That was probably the biggest challenge, and why the doctors or the surgeons were so afraid to give her the opportunity. They wanted to make sure that that was completely gone out of her system. But even when it was gone, they still were kind of iffy about it. So we had to plead our case. So it was on and on and on. So I'm going to get into the weave of that. So what I want to do though is want to tell you what happened the first go around, right? So when we first found out that my daughter Amber had kidney disease, she was at late stage. So it was a quick turnaround where we probably prolonged her kidney about a year and a half before we were able to just say, okay, before we just went full-blown into kidney transplant mode. So I was the initial person that went in for testing because her father also has TSC. So the problem with that is that if you do have TSC, you're not going to be eligible to give anyone, you won't be able to donate an organ, period. So he was ineligible right off the bat. So I went in, I had to lose about 15 pounds because you also have to be a certain weight. They want you to be in tip-top health in order for you to give any type of organ, right? So if you are interested in becoming a donor, which I always encourage, obviously I would recommend you speak to your doctor, make sure that you're in tip-top health. Also read up a little bit about it. It is so important. I think that if more people did take the time out to actually understand how important it is to be a donor, they'd actually be more willing and open to actually becoming one. I gave my kidney to my daughter back in 2012. Now, throughout that journey, my kidney health has been very good. I haven't had any major issues. I see my nephrologist once a year. I just saw him last month, and I actually have been able to maintain my weight. I went up a little bit, and then I went back down. I went up. So I average about within 5 to 10 pounds whenever I see him. I've actually lost a lot of weight recently because I started to do park walks, exercising, and just eating a lot healthier. So I recently lost about another 12 to 15 pounds when I saw him. So, but it's really important that if you are interested in becoming a donor, that you will have to focus obviously on your overall health. Make sure that you're seeing your nephrologist, seeing whether it's, if you have any issues or like a family history of a high blood pressure. Obviously you want to maintain that, manage that with your doctor. There's so many different things. So I have to make sure that I am fortunate. I am very fortunate. Do not have anything like diabetes and stuff like that. So that's another thing. Like if you do have diabetes, you wouldn't be able to be a donor, obviously, because diabetes can definitely affect your kidneys. So you do definitely need to keep your kidneys. It's just very, very complex. So I just want to make sure I also note that I'm not a doctor, don't have a degree, never worked in the field. This is just real life experiences, what the information that's been provided to me from my doctors and all the doctors that we see on a continuous basis. So just note that. But if you are interested in becoming a donor, here's a great webpage where you can actually do some research on it. It was definitely the best decision I ever made, but it has not affected me health-wise. I still feel normal, still feel like I have a second kidney. So just note that though it was a great experience for me because I was able to give my daughter 2 more years of an extended kidney life, it might not be the right choice for you. And I'll get into why she lost my kidney. Okay, so from 2012, when she got her kidney, we moved to the south for about like 2013, around there. So 2 years after that, she was fine. She was doing good. And then in 2013, I think around 2015, 16-ish, around there, she ended up losing her kidney. And the reason why was because she got a meningitis infection. We do not know where she got it. Unfortunately, when you do have a transplant, if you have very low immune systems, it's very easy for you to catch different types of diseases. So that's why it's so important to always be aware of your surroundings, where you go, what you eat. It's very key. Anything that can have something that can cause you to get very sick can unfortunately cause you to lose your kidney. So it's really, if you catch something from someone, it can be that much worse for you if you do have a transplanted organ, obviously, because you are taking immunosuppressants. So just note that it's really important. So unfortunately she got really sick, and I know I've gone through this a little bit, but I'll probably do another video on it just to give you guys more details. She ended up getting really sick, ended up in the hospital for months on end. She ended up losing her kidney, and then, fast forward to about 7.5 years of her being extremely sick on dialysis. Towards the end, she was very weak, couldn't even walk without having breathing issues. So we really had to fight the cause to get her back on the list. So throughout those 7.5 years, we did try to get her back into an active donor list, but she got denied because she still has signs of a meningitis infection. So they were very wary. So in about actually, we started the journey for about 6.5 years, 6.5 to 7 years in. Her nephrologist again recommended her because they were seeing that her numbers were good. They weren't showing any signs of any meningitis infection. She didn't have any breakouts throughout that time for the last 3 years on dialysis. So we decided that, okay, we're gonna not only try the one hospital that denied us before, but we're gonna do all three. So all the 3 hospitals that were in our local area, or as closest as can be, besides the one that we were already denied, we ended up going. So the first one was Largo, I think it was, medical, Tampa General, and then we did Tampa first, which was the one we originally were denied. We went to Largo. She was denied because they said that her case was so unique and specific that we're afraid that if they were to try to even do the transplant, they wouldn't have the specialists on staff to really make sure that she would be safe. Then we went to Miami. Miami told us that we had to wait another year to make sure that her infection was fully cleared. Then our final hospital that we went to was Gainesville. So mind you, this is the 4th hospital that we have been through. Okay, so when it came to the process, in each interview process, she was denied. Then we eventually got to, between Miami and Gainesville, we hadn't known yet that she was denied in Miami. So between Miami and Gainesville, those were the last 2 that she had to go through the process. She met with the director of infectious diseases, the director of cardiologist, of pulmonologist, and the nephrologist, and obviously the actual surgeon. These are all the directors in the local hospital, right? So the hospital that we were in. So during that time, we have to go through, and we go in, we see a video, they explain to us the details of the actual process. They tell us, hey, this is what could go wrong. Obviously, they go through all the song and dance and let us know, hey, this is what you need to understand and the severity of it. Mind you, me and my daughter have gone through these numerous times, so we knew what to expect. So then my daughter has to go in through the interview process and meet with each of the directors and explain her story. Obviously, they have all of our medical records. They have everything that she has ever been through, all the specifics, all the details, and then they want to talk to you about what they think, whether or not you are eligible for this, right? She met with all the doctors. They all were very all about, hey, you look good, your numbers look good, and we were worried about the cardiologist because she was having so many issues. The cardiologist and pulmonologist, because she has so many issues with the breathing and stuff. But it was determined that because of just the severity of the dialysis, that was really giving her a hard time, and they felt that she was still, pretty healthy to be able to go through it. Now, the challenge was going to be obviously the infectious disease doctor, or the infectious disease director. So she went through all of them. The surgeon was like, you're good, I'm ready to go. I just need to get the approval from the last director, and then we can get you live. So when Amber finally went to see, this is Gainesville. At this point during the time, we had already got the call from Miami that she was not approved because they wanted to wait. They said that they would give her another opportunity within the year, as long as they saw that she was still clear from the meningitis infection. We had still already been clear. They just were still uncertain. They just still felt that uncertainty, which we understood, but at this point it was already 3 years in, and we felt that we were ready to go. So praise to my daughter. Amber really went in there prepared for that last interview with the infectious disease director. He was probably going to deny her, and the reason being, again, is that a lot of these specialists, we fully understand, they were very afraid of something bad happening, because if, forbid something were to have happened and she had her surgery and she caught a meningitis infection right after that surgery, that could have unalived her, right? So that was really, really scary for all of us. My daughter sat there, pleaded her case. I think, to my understanding, she was in tears, which broke my heart, because I was in tears too, just waiting to hear back and understanding that we just wanted a better life. We just wanted her to be healthy and for her to feel better. Seeing her in bed all the time, exhausted and sick, it was terrifying. So wanting to hear back from that director after that interview was so scary. So funny thing is that she got the call and she was told that she was going to, they were going to give her that opportunity. So out of 4 hospitals, the last hospital was the one that gave her the go ahead, which, oh my gosh, I mean, I can't even explain to you how excited we were. So she finally had gotten the approval. We screamed, we yelled. It was just overwhelming. But just know, if you are trying to get on a transplant list, it is a challenging process. Do not give up on yourself, especially if it's something that you can clearly get over. It might take time to get over that, and it's easier said than done to say, yeah, just deal with the dialysis, just deal with it. Listen, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I see what dialysis is. I've seen children on dialysis. I've seen my daughter, my baby girl on dialysis. I've seen all these families and these mothers with their children, just seeing them sit there on machines. I've seen babies on machines, just needing that machine to survive and to live. I know that it's hard. I know it's hard. It's not easy. But don't give up on the fact that you might be able to become live on that transplant list, especially if it's something that you can overcome. Speak to your nephrologist and be open and honest. Ask the questions that you have. Be your biggest advocate. And if you have a child or someone that you're supporting, be that person's biggest advocate. If that hospital that's closest to you has denied you, you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and you go to the next one until you get that yes. You are entitled to have a healthy life, or your child to have a healthy life, or a parent, whoever it is that you're supporting is entitled to a healthy life. You just have to make sure that any of the underlying issues that you can overcome, try to overcome them. Clearly, there are instances where you're not able to be eligible for a transplant. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that every single person can get a organ or transplanted organ, because you can't. Unfortunately, there are instances that are not eligible for it. But if you have any questions or doubt, maybe you are, but you're not getting that opportunity because of one or two things, ask the questions. Go, when you see your nephrologist, ask every single question that you have on your mind. Do not be afraid to, and be your biggest advocate. If it's something that you've seen, or maybe even read up the white papers, I go through, countless white papers just to make sure that I understand what could happen. Is there a case? I actually read about 2 cases similar to my daughter that had meningitis, and that they overcame, and they were able to get a kidney transplant, and they were very successful transplants. So there are instances of my daughter, though her instances are rare, she still was able to get a transplant even after meningitis infection. So this is feasible. It is feasible for you if you have something that you can overcome. So remember that. And my daughter never gave up. So that's another thing, that just because you have something that seems to be the most devastating fact ever, you can still overcome these things, right? So that's another thing. So she also, once she was, during that process, during the interview process while we were waiting, she had to have countless test blood work. She had to have a lot of blood work, CT scan, MRI of head and neck, chest x-rays, ultrasound of pelvis, and anything that obviously of the abdominal too as well, the fluoro test that she absolutely hated. And they had to continuously check her intraconusal levels and make sure to see where her antigen was, to make sure that she obviously didn't have any active infection. So these were all the things that we had to touch base on in order to get her active on the list. So just to know, I guess the biggest thing here for this specific video is to make sure that you understand that though things may seem a little bit gloom right now, they are this is something that we had to overcome. And I think that many people kind of just sit back and don't fight for your cause, just because you think you're not going to get approved, right? Because you've already been denied a few times. We got denied several times. So note this, just in that circle right there, we were denied 3 times before she got her approval on the 4th time. But prior to that, we had been denied 2 other times. So this isn't, new to us. We were denied constantly. So, but I told her, don't ever give up hope, because once you give up hope, you stop fighting, right? Once you give up hope and you just accept your current reality, you give up and you stop fighting. So I think that it's really important that you understand the importance of fighting for your health, fighting for your life, because you deserve it. And I think that just taking that time to read, understand what your biggest hurdles are going to be, understand that, go prepared for your doctor visit, and then make sure that you ask the right questions. That way, when you do have those big hills that you have to overcome, you're ready for them. Thank you guys for checking out today's video. I hope it was informative. So please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Go ahead and help me out with the algorithm, guys, so I can continue to make my way up to 2,000 subscribers, which I'm super excited as I continue to grow. I just hope that you get some information from our our challenges, so that you can help later on make some decisions that will help or be beneficial to your future health, especially if you're dealing with something as difficult as kidney disease. All right, guys, so thanks again, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on your current time zone. And please don't forget to focus through and evolve. Ciao.